G'day, I'm Ralph Schwartz. Welcome to Geoterrics Outdoors Australia. Coming to you today from the old farm, which is in northern New South Wales, up in the Border Ranges here. Fantastic example of remnant vegetation. There's all sorts of different species of eucalypts and tea trees and lots of orchids and ferns and all sorts of beautiful stuff. So I'm going to bring you part 2 of keeping a naturalist notebook or naturalist sketchbook, and I'm going to do some gum leaves. There's very little as iconic of the Australian bush than the gum leaf, but not as you may have seen them in image libraries where they're just perfect. In nature, the imperfection is where the perfection really is, and I'm actually going to sketch and then watercolor some gum leaves, and we'll see what we can come up with. Come along and hope you enjoy this. This one actually comes from the overhead branch and doesn't really add much to this composition, so I'm going to take it out. Not particularly brilliant, so I'll go on and try to find some others that work. I've just got to let my eyes adjust. Looking up at the gums and then looking at this white page is really hurting my eyes. I've got a bit of snow blindness going on here. That's a trap for young players. What I'm going to do is put together a composite. I had a bit of a play here with some watercolour and a quick watercolour sketch while I was down there, but I needed 2 hands, one to hold the watercolours themselves. I've got a little koi watercolour set from Sakura, and just to sort of try to get the colour levels right. Yeah, so this is what I've come up with, and also have done some drawings for part 3, which will be coming out soon, and I'm just in the process now of doing an amalgamation there. So what I'm actually going to do is do a similar arrangement to those gum leaves there, and I've taken a couple of cuttings here or bits, and I'm going to use a bit of artistic license and make a pleasing arrangement and pick out the shapes and colours to basically represent what it is that I'm producing here. I'm going to take a little clutch pencil here and just go around. I'm actually going to just sketch a little border around, out of which I'm not going to stray. I do this with all my illustrations, whether they be graphite or watercolour, just to give me a little bit of a guide for composition. And now that's an A3 on that 300 GSM paper that I mentioned in the last episode, and I'll get busy drawing that now. So I'm going to find a 5H pencil, and this is my little practice sheet here, and you can see there the 5H has a little bit of depth of shading, but I can keep that fairly low, and I can still erase lines if I need to. So see the beautiful long leaf there with some sort of critter has carved a little bit out there. They've got holes and dots and all sorts of stuff, so that's what I really want to do. Hopefully this will turn out quite nice and I can frame it or possibly make prints from it. If it's thin enough, I might be able to make little bookmarks. Just wondering if that sort of thing would be of interest to you. Just whack it in the comments. It's so iconic, isn't it? The Australian gum leaf. Not quite sure what species this is. It's actually a gum. In this area we've got yellow box, we've got stringy bark, and we've got a couple of different straight gum trees. Those stringy bark and yellow box are also eucalypts, but very complex naming system here in Australia. So just have a look how long that fellow is there. Can you see that? That is fantastic. I'd like that to be the centerpiece of this picture, and then have a couple others sort of in behind that. So I'll get started on that now. The other thing too is there's a very clear vascular structure. This is the top of the leaf, this is the bottom of the leaf, and I don't know if you can see that. If you can resolve that with a bit of light, you can see the vascular structure there. Unfortunately, I might be able to go back over the watercolour with a white pencil, put a really sharp point on it and see if I can scribe some of those in. And there's a vein running all the way down the side of the leaf. I'll see if I can pick that up. So that's my main compositional piece. I could probably put another couple of bumps in here, and I've got these little watercolour brushes that you fill one end with water, and you just press a little bit and it sends water down into the brush. It's a fantastic idea. I'm going to get the lightest colour through here, and then I can come in with the darker shades. So anything that's leaf right now or stem, I can colour this in. It's like primary school. Beautiful thing with watercolour is if you go over the lines, you can just go in later, and sometimes you can wash them out. But I'm already starting to see this beautiful watercolour patina here. It's beautiful. Okay, what I've done is coloured in the basic leaf, the background, the lightest colour I can possibly get. So what I need to now do is let that dry a little bit, otherwise it won't take more colour readily. Don't know how that got there. And you know what? As far as a sketch goes, I think I'll take that as a win. It's not a fine piece of art, but it represents the leaves. The colours are almost there, but if I put too much on, it's all just gonna get too grainy. So I'll mark that up as a win, and sign it. Put a year. It's only just 2021, and yeah, I'll just. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and thanks for watching.